Are you planning to move to Greece? Let me tell you something that nobody put in these glossy traveling vouchers. You will face bureaucracy. And I'm not talking about just filling out some quick forms online, basically, because not a lot of things are online in Greece. I'm talking about these endless documents, stamps, signatures, waiting rooms, queues everywhere, and even something like missing a paper and sending back to uh, position number one, starting the whole process again. That's the bureaucracy that I'm talking about. But don't worry, in this video, I'll guide you step by step through what paperwork you actually need when arriving as an expat in Greece. From the first buried documents for residence permits to tax numbers, healthcare, and much more. By the end, I hope that you have a glimpse of what you need to be prepared for and it doesn't catch you off guard. Before we dive in, if you are new here, I'm Marc Alcubé, and this channel is all about expat life and the expat world. So if that resonates to you, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the future tips and podcast episodes about living abroad. Okay, first let's start with the basics. The documents that you need as soon as you land in Greece, that most of them probably you're already prepared in advance. First of all, kind of obvious, but your passport, and make sure that it has at least 6 months validity left when you arrive, because a lot of the documents that you will need to do are inside of these 6 months. Second one, if you are a non-European citizen, if you're a European citizen, this doesn't apply to you. It's basically the visa. So I would say that normally, if you're planning to stay to Greece in a long term, you should go for the visa type D before moving. Although I'm not non-expert, because at the end I'm a European citizen and I need to pass through this process. Third one is a proof of accommodation, rental contract, ownership paper, whatever it needs. That will be required for mainly all the processes that you need to do in Greece when arriving. At the beginning, of course, that could be just a temporary rental, and then when you need to do the other processes, you can prove your real apartment rent or your ownership of an apartment, and that will get you further in the process. Fourth one that I suggest you to have prepared, and especially for non-European citizens, is a proof of financial means. That means either a work contract, better if it's a Greek one, or a proof of pension, savings, any financial account numbers that you can show definitely will help on making the process faster. Pro tip on this is just keep multiple copies of everything because Greeks tend to stamp, put signatures, and every office will want its own copy. It's not a centralized system, but so definitely make multiple copies on that. And I would recommend you that you keep the original always on your home, and then you always provide documents that are copies of that original. But make sure to have these copies at hand, because in majority of the process that we will talk in this video, you will require them, and most of them they will take that papers from you. First things first, and maybe one of the most important documents that you will need to request on arrival, or actually you can do it in advance, I will explain you later, it's the AFIMI. The AFIMI is the Greek tax number, and trust me, you need that for absolutely everything that comes afterwards. And if you don't have it, you're basically invisible for the system. You will need it for opening a bank account, you need to sign your rental contract if you're one willing to rent a property, to buy a car, to pay taxes, to get the utility bills on your name, absolutely for everything, including the next steps that I will explain in the video. You can apply for the AFIMI in your tax office, which is the DOI in Greek. And you will need your passport, your proof of address, and sometimes your work contract or a proof of financial resources. As I was saying, a bank statement works also for that. But a warning here, expect long lines. Don't be surprised if you are sent to another desk, to another office, and even be coming back tomorrow. Um, it's one of the difficult ones. A lot of people are requesting these ones, and it takes some time to figure it out. So maybe if you can afford it, my recommendation here is to pay for an accountant to do the AFIMI for you. That also because you can do that before your arrival, so you can request it already from home, and then you, when arrive, you already have your AFME ready to rent an apartment, for example, which would be one of your first tasks, I suppose, when you arrive to Greece. Important also is that you can request AFME for dependents like family members, married, kids, and this is normally useful when these family members doesn't work or they don't own property. So basically, what they are doing is that they are obtaining their AFME through you, who has a work contract or that it owns property in Greece. The next important document, it's your AMKA. AMKA, it's the Greek social security number, and basically it allows you the access to the healthcare and the public healthcare in Greece. It also allows you to work legally in Greece, so it's not only about the healthcare. It's important if you want to work from Greece itself, and it also allows you to enroll to a certain services provided by the AMKA and the healthcare system, let's say like this. For applying to that, you will need a passport, again, the proof of residence, and your AFIMI, as I said, already connected. Everything is connected here, so the previous step needs to be completed before you arrive to this. It's done normally in the EFKA, which is the Social Security offices, or you can try to do it in the CAP, which is the Citizen Service Center. I don't know if all of them allow the creation of AMKA in the CAP, but you can try. Again, here, patience is key. You can spend days going back and forward, being asked to different documents to come next day, change desks, change offices. And as I said, probably some CAPs doesn't even allow you to create the AMKA from there. Also, here you could request an AMKA for your children or for non-working family members to also access healthcare through you. Once you have the FMA and the AMKA ready, you finally can open a bank account, which, if you have a Greek work and salary, you will definitely require. Most banks ask for passport, AFME, proof of residence, an employment contract, or your proof of funds from your homeland or the bank accounts that you had until now. And most important thing is that if you are not employed yet, some banks can kind of be picky. So go prepared and maybe try different banks if any of them give you trouble. Also, it's important to know, since that in a lot of our other countries like Germany, Spain, and places where I live, it's kind of easy to open digital banks. That's not yet the case in Greece. It's coming. Like some online bankings are starting to allow you to open bank accounts online directly in a digital environment, but majority of the people still use the traditional banking in Greece until now, as it used to be before the digital time, let's say like this, and before the smartphones. At the same time that you open the bank account, maybe it's the moment to also think about the health insurance. If you are an EU citizen, and I'm meaning the health insurance until your AMKA it's fully approved and you're inside of the system of public healthcare completely. If you're an EU citizen, your international European healthcare card that you should have from home should cover and work for emergencies and in a short time until you have your full registered AMKA number in Greece. If you are a non-European citizen, you often will need a private health insurance until you are inside of fully on the system. And that's important because until you are not in the public health system of Greece, that also the private insurance will be required for you to ask the residence permit. And now the big one, the residence permit. So let's start from the easy path. If you are a European citizen, you technically only need to register if you're staying more than 3 months in Greece. In Athens, as far as I remember, this is done in the special police station for immigration in the neighborhood of Botanikos. And you will get a registration certificate, which is the Bibeos fees, which besides other things allow you to, for example, buy second hand vehicles. So if you're planning to buy a vehicle, that will document you will require it. In my experience, is the only thing that I use it for actually, but it's useful to have. And it's theoretically by law required that you ask for it. A lot of expats though doesn't really have it. I know a lot of people who never required or asked this document. When you go to do this in the police station, you will require the passport, the proof of residence, and again the proof of work financial means, which means either a Greek work contract or an extract of your banks and your financial accounts to prove that you have. I don't remember exactly the amount of money that it was, but a certain amount of money. Also, proof of health insurance. And on top of that, an ID format photo for your document. So basically, the typical photo that you would take for any ID or passport. Now, for non European citizens, this is a little bit more complex. It takes more time, and you will be applying for a residence permit. And the Amonis, which is basically the resident permit that can vary depending on the type of uh, thing that you are doing in Greece. So then that's the one that will the residence permit that would might go for work, for studying, for retirement, for I don't know, reunification of a family. But generically, it requires your passport and your visa that you had for entering the country, a proof of residence, a proof of income or employment. Again, normally gets better if you have a Greek contract. Health insurance, that's what I was saying. If you're still not in the AMKA system, that's why you would probably need a private insurance there, an ID format, photo again for the document, and sometimes they require that you have a criminal record with you when you ask for it. Especially for non-European citizens, as I said, this takes time. It can take months. So I would suggest that you start early. And as it takes months to complete, that's why I suggest also that you get a private insurance while you are getting into this process. Okay, now that you've got covered the essentials, FME, AMKA, bank account insurance, and resident permit. There are a few bonus tips, let's say like this, from my experience and other experts that I interviewed and talk while living in Greece. And that would be, as I said, always bring extra copies of everything. And if possible, get documents translated into Greek. Sometimes that will accelerate the process. So if these documents are from abroad and they are in your original language, especially if they are not in English, try to get an official translation to Greek, especially for documents such as birth certificates, marriage certificates, and criminal records, which are often requested in a translation to Greek language. Second point here would be to check where is your closest CAP office. That's the Citizen Support Office, and it's where you will need to go to for a lot of processes, but also when you need to get help about forms that you need to fill up, doing official translations, and sometimes if you're lucky, they can speed up some of your process. That also includes selling and buying contracts, for example, for property and vehicles. Also, some taxations are done through the CAP. So it's nice and important to know where your closest CAP office is. The third one, it comes more from a generic. So if you have a driving license that it's from Europe, you don't have any problem. You can use that through Greece. But if you have a non-European license, you will need that to get exchange or get a Greek license after 6 months living in the country. Your non-European driving license is not valid forever in Greece. But talking about driving, if you plan, and that comes mainly from my experience bringing my motorbike from Germany, if you're planning to bring a car or a motorbike from abroad, you officially can only have a vehicle with foreign plates in Greece for 6 months. And although a lot of people doesn't follow these rules, that normally ends with having a lot of problems with insurances in your homeland, because of course covering you outside of your territory, it's much more complex than having an insurance on a Greek plate card or motorbike. It's important to note here that the second-hand market for vehicles in Greece is crazy expensive, but importing a vehicle is also crazy expensive. So there is not really a good solution for that. I'm sorry, but it's mainly informative that you be prepared economically also if you want a transportation method in the country. Last but not least, be patient. It's part of the Greek experience, or in this case, the Greek torture, let's say like this, but we all pass through it. So maybe uh, find other resources than this video, talk with other experts who passed through this process before, because they probably know and can help you with certain documents or knowing exactly the place where you need to go for asking for this. So that's basically my guide to paperwork and bureaucracy when arriving to Greece. It might feel overwhelming at first, but once you have these steps covered and you're settled down, you can truly relax and enjoy living in one of the most beautiful countries in the world and with one of the most nicest people in the world. I hope you find this video helpful, and if so, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also give a thumbs up to the video so you help the channel grow a little bit and this reach to more people who are in the same situation as you. And of course, if you want to hear more stories, just check out the podcast, Expat Experts podcast, with real stories of real expats living abroad, a lot of them living in Greece. And now I would like to hear from your experiences. What's the crazy paperwork story that you have in Greece or anywhere else? Drop it in the comments and I'll be reading. And maybe in the future, we can do a video with a few of them.